I was shocked to my core, Matt. Let me do a little introduction for all you guys. Here we go. Let's play it.
City for 3 days from August 20th. JICA, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, plans to designate at least 4 Japanese municipalities as hometowns of African countries as part of its initiative to deepen exchanges. So far, Nagai City in Yamagata Prefecture is expected to be named as the hometown of Tanzania. Kisaraza City in Chiba will be paired with Nigeria. Sanjo City in Niigata will connect it with Ghana. And Imabari City in Ehime for Mozambique.
Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that the Japanese government this week is meeting together with all of the nations of Africa? And in all of those nations of Africa, 4 have been selected to go to the island. It's kind of like that movie, right? And so, Nagai, Yamagata Prefecture, is now going to be home of Tanzania. The Kisaru, Chiba Prefecture, is now going to be Nigeria's prefecture. And Sanjo, Niigata Prefecture, is going to be for Ghanans. And Imabari, Ehime Prefecture is going to be for Mozambique. So we have Tanzania, Nigeria, Ghana, and Mozambique officially moving into Japan. These 4 cities and prefectures. Amazing, Matt.
So, okay. I looked a little into this, and this is what I took from it. Japan has like Korea, Japan has a birth rate problem, has a worker problem, has the population pyramid is very heavy on the older generation and very low on the youngest generation.
Yes.
It's an upside down pyramid.
Yes.
This is a huge problem for society,
Yes.
for demographics, for population, etc. So in order to curb this problem, the solution that the Japanese are thinking or have thought of is that we are going to control migration by bringing in young African workers.
Yes.
And we're going to put them in their own areas per country and basically create these migrant ghettos.
Yes.
Number one, that's a horrible idea.
That is why I was so shocked, Matt.
Horrible idea.
I was so shocked. I sent it immediately to you once I saw it. I was like, I can't believe this. And then, as I told you over lunch, I went down the rabbit hole for at least 30 minutes. I looked up each one of these. I looked up Nagai, Kisaru, Sanjo, and Imabari. And guess what? They are the lowest population prefectures in Japan with the least amount of infrastructure support. And number 3, they are the ones that are designated for essentially like removal. So what you're telling me is that the 4 prefectures that are the lowest support infrastructurally, lowest population, like one of these towns is like less than 100 people. You're going to officially designate to these African countries, Tanzania, Nigeria, Ghana, and Mozambique, their ability to flood their people into these prefectures.
Well, I think flood is a big word.
Okay, so I won't use
I think it's a few thousand people that they're starting with.
A few thousand? When there's only like 193 people in one of these
So
cities?
they're taking dead cities.
Yes, dead cities.
They're taking dead cities and stuffing a bunch of migrants in there to come and work.
Fantastic idea, Matt.
Horrible idea.
I'm beside myself, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm literally beside myself. I cannot believe this is happening.
Well, the worst part of that is if you bring in a population, you stick them in their own ghetto, that eventually, especially if you bring in young, healthy workers, they're eventually going to get pissed off.
Middle-aged man.
They're going to get alienated by society. They're going to cause problems. And it's going to make it compound the problem, make it worse because now you have unrest within your borders. This is a horrible idea. However, there is a lot of global precedence for this. Maybe not in the exact fashion that Japan is attempting to do it, but did you know that Qatar has 3.2 million people? Do you know how many people in Qatar are Qatari?
I think it's less than like 800,000.
300,000.
Yeah. I knew
10% of Qatar is Qatari. Qatar is considered one of the most technological and advanced countries in the world.
Yes.
They're doing 300,000 of their 3 million people are Qatari.
Yeah.
UAE, everyone's like, oh, go to Dubai, go Dubai. Dubai is awesome. Dubai is awesome. 80 to 90% of UAE are immigrants.
Yes. Well, they're seasonal workers. That's Probably the more accurate. Seasonal
They're
work.
in their ghetto outside Dubai. Dubai is like 90% not emirate.
Yes.
And we consider UAE and Dubai one of the most advanced countries and cities in the world.
Yes. It's interesting that as one of the most advanced cities and countries in the world, there's such a disparity between the rich and poor. And they import all of this, dare I say it, slave labor, seasonal workers, to essentially build their castles in the sky.
Just a quick break before this video continues. If you haven't signed up for Soju yet, go check it out, soj.oo. It's a social discussion platform that we've created. That's where the community is hanging out. Definitely worth checking out, soj.oo. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, do it now.
But isn't Dubai also one of the safest cities in the world?
It is.
Because 90% of the people aren't there. They're like, hey, let's just have Sharia law and just chop people's hands off. Because what do we care if we're chopping people's hands off? They're not even Emirate. They're not even Qatari. Let's just chop their hands off and keep them in line. Maybe that's why they have that rule.
But that's, I don't know if we wanted to go there, but in the same time, it's kind of working.
It is kind of working.
It's kind of working.
But it's working because 90% of your country is not from your country.
So let me task you on this. Have you ever, I've watched probably at least 2 or 3 videos where these streamers will go to Dubai. They'll leave out their Rolex or their wallet or something expensive like on a bench. And then they leave for the entire day and they come back still there, right? Very much like Japan. Something's working. The laws of these countries, something's working.
But is it working? 90% of your country don't belong there.
Well, hold on. They've imported them to help build their castles in the sky, but they keep a very tight rule of law. No fuckery.
Okay.
No fuckery.
Okay, how about this then? In Japan, if they allow in these 4 cities of African migrant workers, but they give 0 tolerance to what they're allowed to do, are you okay with that then?
Yes, 100%.
So you're okay with the African migrants giving cities and ghettos?
I'm not okay with them. No, don't twist my words. Don't twist my words, Sar. I am not okay with oil and water is where I'll start. I don't care who you are. You go to Japan and you're not Japanese looking, you're not Japanese culture, you're not going to be Japanese. Ever. Now, the reality is Mozambique people, is Zimbabwe people, are they going to assimilate and become No. It's never going to happen.
But they don't want to.
They don't want to, and it's not going to happen. And so I don't know what true genius thought this up in the Japanese government. Or maybe it was a small hat. You know, because they're everywhere and they like to like sit on people's shoulders and say, "This is what you need to do."
Good night, guys.
Yeah, come
Good
on,
night, guys.
Come on.
Yeah, do it.
Just make usury a thing, right? Like, I don't know what it is, but this is they've essentially, instead of, let me look at it this way, Matt. I'm really beside myself because this is insanity to me. We have these nations that they're importing third world populations into them, right? And people are upset, right? Because people are like, man, where are you putting them? Japan said, I'm better than all of you guys. We're not going to randomly import. We're going to plan the importation. We're going to actually plan the demise of our culture and species group. We're actually going to assuredly ensure the future demise of our people by importing a species group that grows and reproduces at 7 times faster than our native population. This is not smart, man.
But, okay.
This is craziness.
A year ago, I said on this podcast that countries throughout the world will start to fight over African labor.
You did say that, yes. You did say that.
Because there's a population problem all over the world, and Africa has a very high rate of young, healthy men that can be good labor.
Yeah,
and that people would fight
producing
over
like rabbits, yeah.
And right now, you have countries like UK and parts of Europe which are letting them just flood in.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's chaos.
It's chaos.
And then Japan comes around and was like, well, we want some of those guys too. So, but we don't want it to be chaotic.
Nobody
like
does this.
So why don't we have designated ghettos for them? And for the record, during slavery of yesteryear, it was always, because people are like, oh, the white people went there and stole all the Africans. No, that's not what happened.
No.
the African leaders, because they're like, oh, we was Kangs. Yes, the Kangs sold you to the white people.
Yes.
Isn't this exactly what's happening with Japan? The governments of Africa are saying, hey, do you know what? If you create these ghettos for us in Japan, we will send you our youth. How is that different, by the way? Isn't that the same exact thing? Just because you call it something differently, you call it migrant worker. Like, what do you think they were called back then? You're like, oh, we're sending slaves. I don't know if they called them that. They're probably like, oh, yeah, we got workers for you.
Maybe. I don't know. You make a good case. But
No.
I cannot conceive of...
Discount.
I know. I cannot conceive of a world where rational Japanese men sit down in a consortium and they look at each other in the eyes and say, I know. You know these 4 prefectures that are slowly dying, that have low populations? Let's throw African men there. Like,
But
Matt, how is it humanly possible for that narrative to emerge from your body? Like, what would inspire you? What would incentivize you if you were a Japanese legislator? What would inspire you to even consider that as being something smart? Like, that's why I'm so beside myself. This is irrational to its nth degree, Matt. I cannot calculate this within my pea brain.
it depends on what your options are. If your option is A, you bring in migrants to work and they're given a free-for-all to wherever they want to go, or you bring in migrants and they're forced to be in one area only, then maybe that's the lesser of two evils. For example, again, in UAE, the migrant workers don't live in Dubai.
Yeah, they live in the ghettos.
They live in the ghettos.
Yeah.
They've built out ghettos, and same thing in Qatar. When they did the Qatar World Cup and everything else, all those migrant workers they brought in weren't in the major cities. They're not around the good people.
No, they're
the nice people.
They're bussed in and out.
They're put off to the side,
Yeah.
and they're put in the ghettos.
Okay.
Is it better to let them in and be in the ghettos, or is it better to UK's model, which is you let them in and you let them live anywhere?
Yeah, you let them just scatter
Yeah,
like
which
rat.
is a better model between those two?
Well, if you're creating a comparison, clearly it's better to have containment.
So then there's a little bit of reason behind that then.
If you want to choose the lesser of two evils,
Correct.
yes.
I mean, I think that not letting anyone in is better,
That's kind of my point, Matt.
but they have a demographic population problem.
Let me ask you this. I'm trying to not scream. If you were the leader of Japan and you had all of this knowledge of the future, right? You know population's decline, infrastructure dying, the yen is getting pounded, et cetera, et cetera. Would your solution be Japanese people, rise up, become a powerful nation of the rising sun back in the day? Or would you be of the color where you would say, you know what? My Japanese homies aren't going to have a lot of sex. They're not going to do the
They're
boom.
having a lot of sex. They're just not having kids.
They're not doing the boom pow, if you know what I mean. Right? So I know, let's import low IQ, non-native speakers, not culturally aligned individuals. That's out of the spectrum of opportunities and potential realities, Matt, that's what you would choose if you were the leader of the great rising sun?
Okay, if you're going to say you have to import, okay?
No, you don't ever have to import, Matt.
If
That's
you
what I'm saying.
have to import. Thanks for watching the clip. If you want to see the full episode, click here. If you want to see more clips, click here.